First things first, congratulations on a killer album.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
I appreciate it.
Not lying to you when I say I've listened to it on repeat at least 10 times in a row.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I feel like for me, I was saying that it's hard, I think, to find an album that you can listen to start to finish and actually stick with it and enjoy it. But you did that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm the same way. I have a hard time listening to albums front and back. So when I'm making my own, I try to imagine myself not being me and listening to it and hoping that when you listen down, you're not hearing the same thing twice and you're getting a lot of different dosages of different kind of songwriting styles, different types of production styles, and mostly just great songs. I've worked 2 years on this record, and glad it's finally out. So
okay, I know, because yes, you're an amazing performer. Obviously, we know that and stuff. But you are a songwriter at heart too. That's a really important thing to you. You wrote on all of these songs.
Yeah.
Was there a song that was the last one you wrote that you went, okay, this is it. The album's done. Do you have that moment?
You know, the song called "Remember You Young" was one of the last songs I wrote for the record, and usually on albums that I think are finished, there's always one more.
Yeah.
That's kind of just how the songwriting process goes. And so when we finished "Remember You Young," I was like, I know we have something special here, and I think that we can base the record around this sort of songwriting quality, if that makes any sense. And so even though the record's called Center Point Road, "Remember You Young" is one of my favorite songs I've ever gotten to write.
It's so good.
It
makes me want to cry.
Still makes me cry listening to it today. But there's a lot of really cool songs on this record that all just come from a very unique perspective and very nostalgic. And,
definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was listening to it, it was a combination of two things. It was take all your favorite Thomas Rhett songs that you have, like "Die a Happy Man," "Make Me Wanna," "Crash and Burn."
Yeah.
Combine that with, I'm thinking, all of your musical inspirations, whether it's pop, soul, funk, country, and then mash it all together. Is that kind of
that's very
what
correct.
happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody always asks, do you feel like this record is cohesive? And on paper, it's not. But if you know me and you know the style of music that I grew up listening to, and you've listened to my last few records, this album comes as no surprise to you, because I do love to obviously keep it country at the core, but I also just love to experiment every now and then.
Yeah.
Like I love doing songs like "Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time" or "VHS," and like really dive into my more funk, soul, R&B side. And
"Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time" is like Prince vibes.
I know, right?
All the way.
I know,
It's so cool.
And I grew up listening to that stuff, and so it's really cool to be able to take that and kind of put it into my own brand of country music.
And I think the cool thing about you is that you are yourself. And
exactly.
You know, you never listen to a Thomas Rhett song and go, oh, I wonder who that is. You
right.
know that it's you.
Yeah.
Is that a hard thing to do, or do you just feel natural when you're in the studio?
I just feel like if I'm not being the best version of myself, then no one's ever going to understand what the music is about. And even from just beginning, I do feel like in the beginning of my career, I did try to chase a little bit. Like I was like, okay, what's working now? I need to write something like that so that I can at least people can know who I am, if that makes any sense. But after my first record, I really started to go, that's not the way that I need. That's not the way music is intended to be made. You're meant to be yourself.
Yeah.
And you're meant to write songs that come from a very personal place, whether they're fun and not world changing, or they're deep and make you want to cry. So.
And there's a really good mixture of fun dance songs, songs that make you want to cry, songs that make you feel like you're in love, even if you're not in love. And then, of course, speaking of love songs, you listen to it, you know that there's many, many pieces of your beautiful wife, Lauren, in there.
Yes.
What's it like to have her as a muse? Because a lot of artists and writers are not fortunate to have somebody like that in their life that they can, use as that muse for their songs.
One of the best bits of advice I ever got as a songwriter is to write about what you know about, and I feel like I know her pretty well.
Pretty well.
And so, especially since we've had kids, like your marriage just changes when you have kids. Like your routines before children and then after are way different. And so when I had kids, there were so many different ways that I saw beauty in my wife. When you see your wife become a mom, it's like
a whole different.
It's a whole different perspective.
Yeah.
And so there's some really, really unique love songs on here. It's not just all sunshine and roses on this record. There's a few love songs that really get into the nitty gritty of what it's like to be a touring musician, and how you don't see your family a lot while you're touring.
That
and
one song just makes me.
I know. The dream you never had.
Yeah. I'm not even on the road, but I'm like, I miss someone. I think.
I think I miss somebody.
I think I miss somebody.
But it's cool every record just to keep diving into different layers of my relationship with my wife, because I think it's important for people to know that we're not a Disney movie.
No, and of course,
so-
like, you know, I feel like social media is the highlight reel.
Yeah.
But you guys also are very honest on your social media of, you know, sometimes you post a photo of your two girls where you're like, this smile happened and 10 seconds later it was gone. But
Well, it's real life
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, you can't. I mean, anybody who is in a relationship, like, you know that there's ups and there's downs, and I think it's important to write about the downs sometimes because it I think it keeps your life in a real reality check.
for
So,
sure. I have to thank you for writing a song about a girl with green eyes, finally, because nobody ever does it. And I notice has it in there, and
Yeah.
I was like, finally, somebody did it.
Yeah.
It's always blue eyes.
It's
all
always
the
blue
time.
eyes. My wife has beautiful green eyes, so that's where that came from.
So glad, because I was very excited when I heard that. I want to ask you, what were kind of your main things growing up that you listened to as far as musical inspirations? Because I feel like VHS is kind of like that LFO vibe, like summer girls
I admit that I
vibe to
listened
it.
to LFO as
Yeah.
a kid. Yeah.
So who were kind of like those bands? Because I even feel like there's kind of some, I don't know, punk.
Oh yeah, God!
know,
if you knew
inspirations in
me in
there.
like fifth grade. In fifth grade, I was in a band. I was in a punk rock band called the High Heeled Flip Flops,
Nice.
and we all dyed our hair black, and we spoke in British accents. And I played the
Is
drums.
there any video evidence?
There's
of
some
that?
footage of it
Okay,
that's locked
cool.
away in a vault somewhere.
Yes, we need to find that.
But yeah, I mean, I went through a pretty big like punk rock phase, heavy metal phase. But my dad always played me the classics, you know. So I mean, I grew up on the Beatles, and my first concert ever was the Rolling Stones, and we listened to hip hop on the way to school. We listened to Aretha Franklin, Ricky Skaggs, like it literally was all over the map. And so I think that now that when I'm writing my music, that stuff just naturally bleeds out in the way that I write songs because I'm such a fan of so many different kinds of things.
And that's very evident in Centerpoint Road.
Yeah.
It is definitely a mixture of all your musical inspirations,
Yes.
which is cool. So I want to talk about maybe somebody that, I mean, you got cool collaborations with Kelsey Ballerini, John Party, Little Big Town on this one. But who is kind of somebody out there, not even just country, that you would love to collaborate? Who would be that person?
I mean, there's a few, and these are probably on everyone's list. At the tip top would be if me and Bruno Mars could do a song together. I think it would be.
I don't think that's
Pretty
that
electric.
far out. I think that's a pretty
I just need
realistic.
him to know me and like me. You know what I'm saying?
You have met him before?
I've met him.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a really, really cool
Did you
experience.
fangirl a little bit?
He handed
inside?
me a bottle of tequila and he said, "Congrats on your #1 album."
What?
Yeah, it was like,
That's
and
so
I just
cool.
kind of dropped dead right there and watched the show. I would love to do a collaboration with Drake. I think that would be super fun.
Well, you're in the right place.
Exactly. I'm gonna go find him later today. And me and Ed Sheeran have gotten to become good buds over the last couple of years, and I think that Ed writes a ton in Nashville now. We had a co-write set up this past year, but I had something kind of come up that we couldn't do it. But I hope that me and Ed get to write some songs and do
Yeah.
something together.
I would love that. I'm just trying to think here. If you were golfing with somebody, say Charles Kelly, Niall Horan, what would go on that golf course? Because
There's a lot of trash talk that day.
Okay.
There's
'Cause
a lot of
a lot
trash
of
talk.
people were thinking, because I mean, a lot of fans of yours are also fans of Niall's, and they're
Yeah.
like, "How did this all come together?"
Yeah, most of that day was it was me and Charles versus Niall and his tour manager. And so obviously Niall's from Scotland, right? Scotland or Ireland?
Ireland, yeah.
Ireland, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Niall.
He's an Irish boy.
And his tour manager was from there as well.
Okay.
So they were going this
Then
is
there's
this is
definitely
they
a
were
lot of
going
trash
this is
talk.
Ireland versus USA, and me and
Yeah.
Charles beat them by 2 strokes. And so I will never let Niall live
The
that
truth
down.
comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So, do you have you ever written with him, or is that?
Yeah, we've
ever-
written a couple songs together. I wrote with him about a month ago actually when he was in Nashville. Niall is such a sweet dude, and I met Niall through my producer Julian. Actually co-wrote and produced all 5 of the One Direction albums, and so
cool.
gotten to meet Niall through him, and what was such a cool friendship.
And you also have a really cool Canadian connection
Yeah,
with 2 guys in the band that I know.
yeah,
Mr. Nathan and Chris.
Yeah.
Of course, the Canadian boys.
yeah.
What is it about Canada and Canadian fans that you love so much?
Man, the energy's just different.
Yeah.
You know, we kicked off the tour in Montreal, ended it in Vancouver, and went everywhere in between, and there's just a different energy. It's rowdy. Very rowdy, and it's
Canadians are
it's
very
very loud.
rowdy.
Y'all's alcohol percentage in your beer is a little bit higher, I think, but it was it's just been so fun, and I think that what's really cool about coming up to Canada is like I get to play album cuts, and usually I would shy away from that because I just want the show just to be songs that people know.
Right.
But in Canada, everyone knows the words to your album cuts as well, so you really can tailor your set list a whole lot different in Canada than
Which
you
is
could anywhere
probably
else.
fun for you. You can change it
So
up a bit.
fun, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of rowdy fans, Russell Dickerson said one time that he told me that he thinks Canada are like crazy dogs that have been locked up in a cage all winter long,
Right.
and then they just get out and they're crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's very true.
Because it gets cold in Nashville, but not near as cold as it gets here. So
No.
if I lived here, I would go to any concert, period,
No,
and
for
have
sure.
a blast.
So what's life on the road like for you right now? Are you getting to take the kids with you? Are they getting to be a part of that? Because I know I've seen a lot of pictures and videos of Willa Gray running out on stage. Is that kind of a common occurrence for you?
It is. Like we let Willa Gray stay up for my show once a weekend because if she were to do all three, it would be a nightmare. And they have to get their nap in. They need to go to bed early. But one night a week, one night a weekend, Willa Gray comes and watches the show side stage with her little cute little pink headphones
Kaylee Dickerson
on.
got her those. I think
Yeah,
I
she
saw.
did.
Okay, yeah, I love that.
But no, it's a lot different now. When the kids are on the road, it does make the road feel a whole lot more like home. Like I don't miss home as much when they're not here. But when they are not here, I love playing shows, but I am excited to get back home.
And as soon as you listen to that song, I mean, where you're on the road and you're missing them, it's just it makes you want to cry and go hug people you love.
Exactly.
Has that been a super cool and growing experience for you as far as having not one but two very young kids pop into your life all at once?
Yeah, because this career is hard enough as it is. Going back and forth and playing shows and rehearsing and writing songs, making a record, and then still being a great present dad. Me and Lauren have just had to learn a ton of balance through these past couple of years, and I think we're finally starting to get the hang of it. So
cool. Well, Center Point Road is so amazing.
Thank you.
Really, really do love it. I don't think there's one song on there that I do not love.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us that. Check it out, Center Point Road, Thomas Rhett on iHeartRadio.